Yes, class. Am I audible to all of you? Martin, Sarah, Siddhika?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in the last class, we had started with the derivation of parallelogram law, but we couldn't complete it. So the law which we had, see, this was the first step that we have to we have to draw up the geometrical construction, right? Second step is to find out the magnitude. So the magnitude of resultant is given by under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. So what is a, what is b, and what is theta? A and B are two vectors which represent the adjacent sides of parallelogram. And the angle that they subtend, that is what we call as theta. This was done till here. Now see, suppose one last step was left. See, we have done the geometrical construction. We have found the magnitude, but a vector is always incomplete with just the magnitude. So it means we have to find out the direction as well. Whenever you are given a question, you have to mention the direction as well. Like in the example in the last class I gave you, force is equal to 2 Newton due east. So that was the complete answer. Velocity is minus 4 meter per second, you have written in your notes. So minus sign depicts the direction. Likewise, you have to mention through angles also. So suppose, see, this is the resultant. The resultant makes with one of the vectors this angle. See, the resultant makes with the vector A. This angle, I am calling it as beta. You will be using beta everywhere. This is a standardized angle that is used. So beta is the angle between the resultant and the vector A. So this triangle, I have drawn it separately. Beta is the angle between the resultant and the vector A. Fine. Now see, if we look at this triangle, tan beta, if I want to write. So tan beta will simply be this perpendicular, that is Sn, divided by this base, that is On. So see, this becomes Sn divided by On. Now remember, this On is not a complete side. It is made up of the side of the parallelogram, that is Q, and this was the perpendicular that we had dropped. So it means if I want to write On, I can write On as OQ plus QN, right? I can write tan beta as Sn divided by On can be written as OQ plus QN. Now see, in the last class where you have written the derivation, we have found the meaning of every term. Look here. NS or Sn, this is B sine theta. So from here, we can conclude tan beta as Sn can be written as B sine theta divided by OQ plus QN. See, OQ is this vector A, the vector A which we had started with. A and B were the two vectors, no? So this is the vector A. This is OQ plus. Lastly, we have Qn. So Qn also we had calculated. Qn was B cos theta. So that this becomes B cos theta. So this is the formula. Tan beta is equal to B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. If you have to write the exact angle, so you have to write tan inverse B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. This I'll explain you how we have written this, because inverse trigonometric functions will be used everywhere. Just add these 3-4 lines in your registers where you have written till here, and whenever the derivation comes, you have to mention step 3 as well. Step 3 is the third step. First was geometrical construction. Second is the magnitude through this formula. Lastly is the angle calculation, means the direction. Just note it down, then I'll tell you what is that inverse trigonometric function. Done till here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now see that inverse trigonometric rule which I was mentioning. Whenever we have, so this is the magnitude, how we write the magnitude, under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. And tan beta is b sine theta divided by a plus b cos theta. See, whenever we write inverse trigonometric functions, like sine half you have, and you want to find out theta. So what will you do? Theta, keep theta aside. Now sine will become inverse, right? Sine will come in the denominator here. Here it is getting multiplied, so it will come in the denominator. So this is sine inverse half. Or if you know the value, you can write the values properly by yourself. Like sine, we know here the value of theta is 30 degrees. So you can add it up. You can write theta as 30 degrees. Like here, tan theta we are having. So from here, if you want to write theta, that becomes tan inverse 1 by root 3. Now you know the value of tan 1 by root 3. So you can mention, suppose it is not 1 by root 3. Let's say instead of 30 degrees, this is, let's say some 38 degrees like this, which value you do not remember. So you can keep your answers like this. For example, here, theta, this can be written as tan inverse 1. This can be written as tan inverse 3. So you have to keep your answers till this step. You don't have to tell what is tan theta. You have to tell what is theta. So similarly here also, whenever you will calculate this part of the calculation, you will then mention it as tan inverse. Suppose you know the value. Suppose you know the value, like this case, tan theta is equal to 1. So you know it's 45 degrees. Then you can mention that it is 45 degrees like this. All right, just mention this inverse trigonometric function in your registers. Then we'll practice the questions. We haven't discussed any questions, no, from parallelogram. We'll discuss it. So all of your exams must be over by now. Sarah, you didn't send me the question paper?
Oh, I forgot. Today I will come. Done.
I think by now all of you must have completed this. See, this question says what? This says that two forces, F1 is equal to 2 Newton. This is your first force. So it means this is, let's say this is our vector A, and another force we have, this is our vector B, which is 1 Newton. This is what we have. Angle is also given between them, that is theta, which we considered. Theta is 60 degree. You have to find out the net force. Now see, it has not mentioned whether you have to just tell the magnitude. It has also not mentioned whether you just have to tell the direction. So it means you have to answer complete force. So complete force means the magnitude as well as the direction. So how will we start the calculation? We have a formula. See, F1, this is our vector A, this is our vector B, this is the theta angle between them. The general formula which we have for the magnitude of the resultant. This is under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. It means in terms of forces, I can write this as F1 square plus F2 square plus 2F1 F2 cos theta. This is what can I write? Now, value of F1 is given 2. So F1 square will become 2 square plus B square, that is F2 square. F2 is given as 1. So this becomes 1 square plus 2 into A, that is F1. What is F1? 2. So 2 into A into B. B is 1. And cos theta, this will be cos 60 degree. This is what we have. Now we have to solve this. Now there is no need of the formula. We have substituted everything inside the formula. Now you just have to solve this. So this becomes, see, 2 square, this becomes 4 plus 1 square becomes 4 plus. See, 2 into 2 is 4. And what is cos 60 degree? Cos 60 degree is half. So that also becomes 2. So 4, 6, 7, root 7. So F net, that is the magnitude of the force, is root 7. This is just the magnitude, resultant's magnitude. This is how we calculate. How will your answer be completed? When you will write its direction, that is tan beta. What is beta here? See, if you complete up your parallelogram, this is the resultant which we have found, which is root 7. Beta is going to be this. This angle is going to be beta, right? The angle between the resultant and the vector A. This is beta. So now, and yes, how will you choose A and B? The angle with which the resultant is making this beta, that always consider that vector only as A. So coming to tan beta, the formula is B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. Vector B is F2, right? The force 1 Newton. So that becomes 1 into. We have sine 60 degree divided by. Vector A is 2 Newton plus, again, vector B is 1 Newton, and this becomes cos 60 degree. So this we can write sine 60 degree. This we can write it as root 3 by 2. This becomes 2 plus half. So let us solve these. See, 2 plus half, this becomes 4 plus 1, that is 5 by 2. So tan beta can be written as root 3 by 2 into, this becomes 5 by 2. So root 3 by 5, tan beta is root 3 by 5. What will be beta? See, I do not know what is the value of root 3 by 5. No, none of us know, right? What is the value? So we will write this as tan inverse root 3 by 5. So what will your complete answer now be? See, this is how will you write your answers in your exams. How will you write your exam answer? See, F net will be, the net resultant force is root 7 Newton with beta is equal to tan inverse root 3 by 5. This is what your complete answer is. This is how you have to write up the Final answer. Now your vector is complete. See, it consists of magnitude with the proper direction along with the usage of the parallelogram law. That is your vector law. First, tell me this first question, formula based question. This is clear to all of you? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yasir, what about you? Okay, then note this down. Yasir, you there in the class? Yasir? Okay, okay, Yasir. Note it down, then one more question I'll give you that you will try by yourself first and we'll discuss it. Yes, class. Question 2. So two forces acting on a point are shown. So this is the point where both the forces are acting. F1 is 3 Newton, F2 is 5 Newton. You have to calculate the net force. So see, let's say this is our vector A. A vector, I have taken F1 force, which is 3 Newton. So B will become F2 force, which is 5 Newton, right? This also I have mentioned. Yes, starting with you, Abdullah. What is the formula for magnitude of resultant? Unmute yourself and answer. What is the formula for the magnitude of resultant? Yes, Abdullah. Kashif. Magnitude of resultant. In the last class, we had derived the magnitude of resultant's formula. Check it in your notes. You must have written somewhere. Resultant's magnitude using parallelogram law. Check it, Abdullah. Yes, answers, Abdullah. Yes, am I audible, Abdullah? Under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. Very good. So formula of magnitude of resultant. This in the last class only we had seen. This is under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. This is the formula which we write. Now coming to the substitution of these formulas. See, vector A, I have already written, this is 3 square plus vector B, this is 5 square plus 2 into vector A is 3, vector B is 5. Yes, Martin, what is the value of theta that I should put?
90.
90 degree, very good. Value of theta will be 90 degree. C class, the theta that we take is the angle between the two vectors which we take. So this can be clearly visible. This is 90 degree. This is drawn also. And obviously, north and east, the intersection between both of these will be 90 degrees. And cos 90 degrees value, Humam. Yes, Humam, cos 90 degree.
Sorry, ma'am, I just joined.
I'm asking you, what is the value of cos 90 degrees? Yes, Humam.
Don't remember, ma'am.
Next, yes, Yasir. Zero. Very good. See, Humam, it's zero. Please remember this. You in your class 10th book, you already have a lesson, trigonometry. There in your NCERT, a table is also made where values of sine 30, 45, 60, 90 and 0. Cos 0, 30, 45, 60 and 90. These are made. Till tan theta, cos, sine, tan. These three, value of sine theta, value of cos theta and value of tan theta of 0 degree, 30 degrees, 45 degrees, 60 degrees and 90 degrees. At least these 5 all of you should remember because they will be used in your questions. More than these will be used, but these are the basics. See, cos 90 is 0. So this entire terms become 0 because whenever you will multiply this 15 into 3 into 2 with 0, answer will be 0. So what are we left with? Under root 3 square plus 5 square. So that becomes 9 plus 25, which is root 34. So this is just the magnitude. Root 34 Newton is just the magnitude. This is not my complete answer. Whenever you are writing, you have to mention the direction as well. So what have we learned? We have to complete the parallelogram. Here the parallelogram would be a square, right? Because all the angles will be 90 degrees. So this is the resultant. Let's say this angle, this angle is beta. So I have to find out this beta. What is the formula of tan beta that we had substituted? Yes, Sarah. Can you narrate the formula for tan beta?
B sine theta by A plus B cos theta.
Very good. B sine theta divided by A plus B cos theta. This is how we write the magnitude. So vector B is 5 into sine 90 divided by vector A is 3 plus vector B is again 5 cos 90 degrees. So sine 90 degrees 1. All those who do not remember these values, trigonometric values, please mark it here on registers on the corner, on the topmost corner, so that you can remember it. And do check these values, those values which I have mentioned, because those you have to remember at any cost. Otherwise, your maths problems, your physics problems, none will be solved. So this just becomes 5. This entire term again becomes 0 because cos 90 is 0. So this becomes 3. So what is the value of beta? This is tan inverse 5 by 3. So what is my complete answer? This is not my complete answer. Net force was asked, no? So net force is root 34 Newton with beta as tan inverse 5 by 3. This is my final answer to this question. All the steps contain certain marks. Note it down. And if from this batch only 3 students had, I think, appeared for the test. Martin was there, Siddhika was there, and Afnan was there.
Which test?
The Friday's test which we had. Yes, Siddhika, Martin, and Afnan gave. So the scores weren't well. Motion in a straight line was asked. No, scores weren't well. Displacement, Martin, displacement and distance question also, you have attempted it incorrectly. Please revise those circular questions. No, we had seen, which we have to find out where the the A point was given, B point was given, C point was given. See, you are referring distance as magnitude. Magnitude means the number without the signs. If I write force as -3, magnitude will be 3. If I write force as +3, magnitude will be 3. Magnitude doesn't mean distance. Everywhere. Martin, are you there listening?
Yeah, ma'am, yeah.
Okay.
I
Martin, see,
magnitude is small.
yes, you have written everywhere where you had to write distance. You have written it as magnitude. Like your first answer is right, pi r by 2. But you have written magnitude is pi r by 2. What is
Oh,
magnitude?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, ma'am. I
And
know.
in the last part also, where point A means the person is coming back to the point A. So distance and displacement were asked. You have written magnitude and displacement are same. Firstly, it's distance that you have told me. Secondly, they are not same. See, distance means entire circular path that has been covered. Whereas displacement is the difference between initial and final point. You tell me, Martin, if this is the initial point and this only is the final point, what is the displacement?
Zero. Like the points are same, so 0.
Points are same. So that means 0. There is no difference. right? There is no difference if I give you this point only and coming back to this point only. It means 0, no displacement has occurred. But distance is exactly the periphery of a circle, which is 2 pi r. All right. These questions you have to pay a little attention on. Rest were fine, which you had attempted. Some you hadn't, but rest of you which you had attempted were fine. It's just that number of questions which were attempted were less, but this was the major mistake, Martin. That is, magnitude is different,
Okay,
distance is different, and displacement is different. And regarding Siddhika's paper, again, the questions she has attempted, that is my number of questions which you have attempted, Siddhika. That is very less questions which you have attempted. First, second, third, and fourth question only you have attempted. So fine, those you have it, those circular questions and everything you have missed. So all the questions that you have missed, practice it again. Okay, Siddhika? Okay.
Visual students.
Scrolling up.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see the figure. Oh, I can go now. Yeah.
Yes, when we had started with vectors, we had discussed what is the meaning of parallel vectors. So when we talk about parallel vectors, what is the angle, Siddhika? Angle between parallel vectors. Yes, Siddhika, we had discussed this. Kashif, your answer? Parallel vectors. Angle between parallel vectors, Abdullah. Have you not revised, Abdullah and Siddhika? Okay, Abdullah is, you are also not sure. Parallel vectors. Anyone else? Anyone who can answer? Angle between parallel.
0 degree.
0 degree. Very good, Sarah. And very good, Huma. Angle between parallel vectors is 0 degree. See, when two vectors are parallel, if you overlap them, see, these are two vectors. If I overlap them, the angle will be 0 degree. If both are anti-parallel, and if I keep them together, angle will be 180 degree. And if they are perpendicular, angle is 90 degrees. See class, whenever we have used motion in one dimension, there also we were talking about vectors like velocity, but we were not using parallelogram law. Why? Because that is a special case, either it is 0 degree or 180 degree. Right, in motion in a 1D, you don't have any angle because that is in one dimension. So those special case we have to see. See 0 degree. If two vectors are parallel, like A and B are the two vectors and they are parallel, so angle between them will be 0 degrees. So it means in this formula, instead of writing everything, I will write under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos 0 degree. Cos 0 degree is 1. So resultant, this will become, see, this will become under root A square plus B square plus 2AB. This is what it will become. Now, can anyone tell me, is this similar to any identity? See, under root this portion. Any identity you think?
Resultant.
Which identity, Sarah?
Resultant.
A plus B the whole square.
A plus B whole square. Yes, ma'am. It is A plus B whole square. Yes, Abdullah, right. See, this is A plus B whole square. The identity, no, A plus B whole square is what? This is actually A square plus B square plus 2AB. So same we will use. Now see, this root and the square, this will cancel each other. So we are left with, see, this is actually, like A plus B to the power half to the power 2 to the power half, that cancels each other. So you are left with A plus B. That's why whenever we were using two velocities moving in the same direction, we directly added them. Remember, if two cars are moving with velocity, let's say 4 meters per second, in the same direction, the velocity is there. So we directly added them up. 4 plus 4 we used to write. Why? Because this was the case. Angle between them was 0 degree. So parallelogram law was used over there also, but there wasn't a need. So that's why we weren't using. Coming to anti-parallel. Anti-parallel means the angle between them is 180 degree, means they are anti-parallel to each other, A and B vector. So here in theta, we'll put in the formula as 180 degrees. So resultant will become, this will become under root A square plus B square. This becomes A square plus B square plus 2AB cos 180 degrees. And what is the value of cos 180, Humam? Do you remember? -1. This value also you should remember. Along with the rest of the trigonometric values, remember these also. Cos 120 degree, 180 degree, along with the main one. So this is -1. So resultant becomes a square plus b square minus 2ab. Why? Because this is minus 1. So 2ab multiplied by minus 1 gives you minus 2ab. Now this is again similar to one identity, a minus b whole square. So resultant this becomes under root a minus b whole square. So that's why resultant is a minus b. Remember, we had seen when two cars were moving in opposite direction, we had always chosen this negative sign. The rest of the sign conventions which we put were different. That is a different thing. That is regarding sign convention. I'm talking about the formula. If two forces are in opposite direction, if two velocities were in opposite direction, if two accelerations were in opposite direction, we directly subtracted them. The reason was this only, because they were forming the angle 180 degree between them. So because of this whole calculation, we directly use this. And here, remember in relative velocity constantly, this was the formula. So the formula was actually the parallelogram law only. Last case, when two vectors are mutually perpendicular to each other. So this question, this case we have just solved. What happened in this case? What we were left with? What were we left with? See, under root a square plus b square plus 2ab angle 90 degree. Perpendicular means 90 degree, or normally will also be written instead of perpendicular term. Normally can also be written. That becomes cos 90 degree. Yes, Humam, what is the value of cos 90 degree?
0.
How much?
0.
0. Very good. This is 0 degree. So it means this term is 0 under root a square plus b square. Right now also the question which we had seen, under root 3 whole square plus 5 whole square, 25 plus 9 root 34, which we had obtained. This was only left with us. So perpendicular, if you have perpendicular case, if you have parallel case, if you have anti-parallel case, directly use these formulas. If the question is a long question, like 3-marker question is there, then properly show these steps also. Otherwise, if it's just a quick calculation question, you can use the formulas directly. All right, make these 3 cases, then we'll solve 1 or 2 more questions from this. One important question is left that I want to discuss this with you. First, note it down. Any doubts if you have, you can meanwhile text me also in the chat column. You can unmute yourself also. See, greatest and least resultant of two forces acting at a point are 29 Newton and 5 Newton respectively. See, we have just seen two cases where one was the maximum value, right, A plus B, and one was the minimum value, A minus B. Out of this, so when it is saying no greatest force, that means it is giving you a hint that the sum of both the vectors is given to you. That if it is saying greatest vectors acting at 2 point, this is 29 Newton. That means F1 plus F2 is 29 Newton. If it is saying least resultant is 5, that means F1 minus F2 is 5 Newton. In your 11th class subjective exams, these questions will be there. These types of questions are there. Now see, you just have to find out the value of F1 and F2. So we can add them. That becomes 2. F1 is equal to 34 Newton. So F1 becomes 17 Newton. And F2 will become, this goes there 5. So 12, right? This becomes 12 Newton, 17 Newton and 12 Newton. This is the initial value. But the question is mentioning something else also. If each force is increased by 3 Newton, now we know what are these forces, right? The first two lines were the hint to find out what is the value of F1 and F2. Now we have found the values of F1 and F2. So if I know the value of F1 and F2, can I know the value when they are increased by 3? Increased by 3 means if you have 1, you add 3, you get 4. Right? 1 is increased by 3 means 4. You are adding the numbers, right? So same thing, if each force is increased by 3, means if each force is increased by 3, the new force F1 will become 17 plus 3. That makes it 20 Newton. Next force, F2 dash, that is the new force. It was 12 plus 3, so that becomes 15 Newton. These are the two forces which you will use to calculate. Find the resultant of two new forces. Means now you have obtained the two new forces. One is 20, another one is 15, acting at right angles to each other. Theta that is given, what is the theta's value given? The angle between them, that is given as 90 degrees. So magnitude, when theta is given, no need to write everything. We have seen no, under root it becomes a square plus b square, because this entire term, theta's term, will become 0 as cos 90 is 0. So quickly you can answer like this. This becomes first force, that is f1 prime square plus f2 prime square. So resultant will be under root 20 square plus 15 square. So this becomes 400. 15 square is 225. This becomes under root 625. So under root 625 is 25 Newton, right? So this is the magnitude. Still, I have not completed my answer because the question is not saying find the magnitude. If the question had asked me find magnitude of them, then this would have been my answer, that my answer is 25 Newtons. It is saying find resultant. So resultant means vector along with their direction. So what should I write the value of tan beta as? B sine 90 divided by a plus b cos 90 degrees. See, b sine 90 becomes 1, so b divided by a. This will be only that will be left. So tan beta, b means the second force is 15, first force is 20. So you cancel up this, becomes 3 by 4, right? 3 by 4. So your answer beta is tan inverse 3 by 4. So what is the resultant that I'm supposed to write? The value of resultant. Here, let me write it. Final answer is F net is 25 Newton with beta as tan inverse 3 by 4. This is my complete answer. So even if you do not have the exact values, using the hints which are given in the question, you can use. Mark this as an important question because this is not a direct formula based question. You had to use these steps which were given. Note it down wherever you are having doubts in these. Please ask me because these types of questions will be there in your class 11th half yearly examination. After this, 1 or 2 laws I'll discuss. Those are similar and these are easy. Quickly note it down. See, one last thing I want to discuss. When it says two vectors are in same order and when it says two vectors are in opposite order. So same order means when one vector's head is coinciding with the tail of another vector. And opposite order means when both the heads are coinciding. So is your parallelogram law applicable to same orders or opposite orders? See, same orders, it is not possible, because we have seen head of one should coincide with tail. This is not the condition. This is not how they are representing the adjacent sides of parallelogram. Same is the case here. These are also not representing the adjacent sides of parallelogram. We know only if the vectors are co-initial, then they will contribute to parallelogram law. Just make this as a note point and note these 2 points also. as you all will complete, please text me done in the chat column. Sara, Martin, Yasir, Siddiqa have completed. Humam, Abdullah, you both have also completed. All right. So class, all those who have completed, please log into your accounts and start with the after class assessment. Okay, in the next class, we'll start with some other topic related